1 year ago today, Steve and I brought his rotted to death 67 Camaro into this garage to start our metal repair. And although the car has since turned into the largest, most expensive shelf/toolbox in this entire garage, we have been making progress on it. And today, we are going to be installing new frame rails, new spring pockets, and if Bob from Facebook Marketplace gets back to us, we might have a new set of leaf springs and possibly get a rear end and 2 wheels on this car at the end of the video. Now, if you haven't watched any of the other videos on this car, it's a lot of metal repair, a lot of welding, basically everything except the roof on this car. Underneath that speaker and the console, and then the guy with the beard. There is a roof under there. I know you can't see it right now, but it's there. We have essentially replaced everything on this car. So really what we want to do is get the rear end underneath this car so we can roll it outside and then never look at it again. This should hopefully be a big step forward in getting this car complete. If you're not familiar with this car or this channel, this is not my car. I'm helping my buddy Steve out, who also has a channel, which is American Nostalgia Garage. You guys should absolutely check it out. It's very similar to my channel, except it's approximately 90% more Nova and 110% more beard. But other than that, pretty much exactly the same. So why don't we dive in and see if we can get some stuff done on this car. All right, after 1 full year of working on this car, we finally decided to pull the rear end out from underneath it. Not that it was in the car, I just mean we took it out and left it underneath in our way the entire time. But now it's out of the way. And I can't show you because there's nowhere to walk in this garage. But we're going to pull the leaf springs off. But before we do that, we're going to get a measurement in between this leaf spring and that leaf spring just to give us a little bit of a reference point of where the frame rails need to land when we get them underneath the car. Also, you might be wondering, why replace the leaf springs? Yeah, they're a little rusty, but the reason is right there. So this loop that the actual bushing gets pressed into snapped off. All right, so here's one of our new frame rails. We climbed underneath the car just to kind of mock these into place and see where they sit. And the good thing is that it kind of seems like they, for the most part, locate themselves. There's not too much left to right movement you can have in there. The one thing that we did notice, so this tab right here with the threaded hole is actually for a seatbelt bolt in the rear. And it lines up with this right here, which you can see, or maybe you can see, is also threaded. And Steve brought up a good point. We were trying to figure out why both of these, so this and the piece that I showed you on the frame rail, would be threaded. And what he thinks it is, and I tend to agree with him, is that they sell the floor like that. So if you were replacing the floor, but not the frame rails, you still have a stanchion basically to bolt your seatbelt to. So we just think that we happen to get both of these threaded when we only needed one. So what we are gonna do is we're just gonna cut the welds on this, basically knock this threaded piece off, and then our frame rail should fit up against the floor in the trunk nice and flush. All right, I have the passenger frame rail mocked into place. The only thing that's holding it in right now is the seatbelt bolt up top. So that little square that I removed earlier, that's gone now. Now the frame rail can sit flush up against the floor in the trunk, and the bolt goes through the floor pan in the bottom and is holding this in place. So just a nice easy way to kind of position this. So Steve's going to throw the other one in, and then what we're going to do is we're going to compare the measurements basically from eyelet to eyelet that we took on the leaf springs before we moved them from the rear, and we're going to compare it to the frame rails. If that is correct and these rails are where they're supposed to be, we'll make marks, prep everything, do a final fit up, and then we'll start welding these in. All right, so I'm underneath the car right now. We have our frame rail positioned, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a silver Sharpie. All right, basically just going to mark lines the entire length of the frame rail. The only place that we're not going to do that is this section right here, right around where the shock mount is. This area here is all double thick. So the rest, we are going to drill holes in the trunk pan, and we're going to weld from up top. In this area right here, we're actually going to drill holes in the frame. That's going to get welded from the bottom. So I'm going to mark all these lines. We're going to pull the frame rail down. We're going to scuff the coating off of the frame rail and the trunk pan, drill our holes, and then once we get this final positioned, we'll put some zip screws in here just to cinch everything down nice and tight, and then we can weld this in. Frame rail is back out of the car. So when I was underneath, I think I showed you, made those marks where we're actually going to drill the frame rail because the floor is doubled up. So where those holes are on those flanges, there's 2 more down there, and then a few up here as well. So I'm going to prep this entire rail. We're going to grind the backside, weld through primer. Steve's going to go underneath and basically drill those holes where I marked where the frame rail sits. And then once we get everything prepped and we get the other frame rail here, oh yeah, interesting. We have the incorrect trunk pan welded in this car. So the pan that's in here is out of a 68, 69 Camaro. Apparently 67 was different. So there was a whole... Last night we were kind of freaking out a little bit because we realized that the driver's side frame rail is incorrect. The passenger one stays the same because of the staggered shocks. The 68, 69 frame rail is in fact different. And it's this area. This is the driver's side rail. Somewhere in here it gets a lot thinner. The new frame rail is on the way. It should be here hopefully within an hour or two. So I'll show you that one to compare it to this one when we get it. But for right now, just prepping the passenger side. Once that's done, we'll put this back in the car. We'll do the same thing for the new driver's side when it gets here, and then we will compare the measurements, which we have written down here. And then once we have that squared away, we can start welding these in. Driver's side frame rail has been delivered. Now, I'm going to try and remember to add this in when I edit this video, but the section that I was telling you about that was more narrow, this is the piece here. So, as you can see from the sticker, this frame rail is for a 68 to 69 Camaro. Now, it's not just that piece that's different. Apparently, the frame rail for a 69 Camaro is actually a bit longer. Now, we have the frame rails lined up outside of the car, and you could see how much longer it is. Now, we're not just blindly cutting this either. We did a fair amount of research last night when we determined that the other frame rail was incorrect, and we came across this. If you're putting this in a 68, even though this is a 67, you do have to trim the frame rail and kind of sneak up on it. So we've been taking a little bit off, test fitting it underneath the car, taking off, test fitting, taking off, test fitting for about 20 minutes now, but we're creeping up on it and I think we're pretty close. All right, we have both of our frame rails positioned in the car, not welded in yet. They're being held in with self-tappers and a jack and jack stand on the other side. But we set them in, we took our measurement exactly where we want them to be, which is good. We have our brand new, I don't know if you can see them or not. This car is only about 5/8 of an inch off the ground. So, but our new spring pockets are bolted in. We wanted to locate those before the frame rail went in. So in the one spot where you can actually see it, I just wanted to show everyone how nice and tight that frame rail is, like the contour up against the trunk pan. And it's the same thing on the driver's side rail. I know I mentioned earlier we needed to trim the back of the rail to get it to fit. Probably pulled the frame in and out of the car about 10 times, but we just kept sneaking up on it, and the fitment is spot on. Couldn't be happier with it. I think it's time to start making this part of the car. Steve's about to buzz this thing in. I'm going to let him do all the welding because it is his car, and I don't like his welder, and I'm not used to it. So I'm going to stand out here and be fire watch. A couple days later, plan for today and possibly another day is to get the rear end cleaned up. I'm going to be using the needle scaler and a wire wheel on an angle grinder. We're going to knock all the scale and the rust off this rear end because it looks like complete garbage right now, and the car is actually starting to look good, so don't want to put that underneath the car. We just put all new brand new sheet metal in. Steve was able to grab these multi-leaf springs off of Facebook Marketplace. So if you remember, I showed you the broken spring, or the spring that originally came out of this car. It was a monoleaf. We were going to be converting to multi-leaf, and they do sell conversion kits for that, and we're going to go through all of that. We have some new polyurethane leaf spring bushings, some new shackles. Yes, they're new. They were sitting in my garage for 2 years. They were for my Camaro. I ended up putting a leaf spring slider in that car and moved them inboard, so I didn't need these, donated them to the cause. So I'm going to try and knock off the old brake lines on this rear, clean it up, paint it. We got to run to the store, get some hardware so we can actually bolt the leaf springs into the leaf spring pockets. And then once that conversion kit gets here, we should be able to attach the rear end to the leaf springs and get some tires on this thing for the first time in a little over a year. I think we did a pretty decent job getting the heavy scale and all the rust off the diff. Blew it off with some compressed air, and now we're going to splash it with some black paint. Rear diff is painted. We pressed out the old leaf spring bushing. New one's going in now. All right, we're going to press our new bushing into the leaf spring. I'm going to hose the new bushing down after it breaks my ankles. I'm going to hose it down with a little white lithium grease. And then we're just going to introduce it to our friend, the hammer. Hopefully miss my fingers. All right, next up, I'm going to toss our sleeve through. And there you have it. New bushing is pressed in. Now, this side is going to go into our new leaf spring pockets. And yeah, so that's going to go over like that. 1/2 inch bolt through, and this will attach the leaf spring to the front of the car. And then on the back end, like I said, we have brand new shackles. So next bushing is going to be on our shackle side. You want to make sure you get as much of the white lithium grease in your eyes as possible.
You want to make sure you get as much of the white lithium grease in your eyes as possible.
Was it pointing directly at you or something?
Yep.
Good job you did just now.
It stings the nostrils.
Some sort of comedian.
Leaving that in.
You literally just like three stooged yourself.
I sure did.
Which stooge do you think you'd be if you were a stooge?
I don't know. Is there a blind one? Is white lithium grease good for your eyes? So the goal is, once this rear is actually back in the car, to not have to take it out again.
You sure about that?
So while we have it out, we are going to do wheel cylinders. We're going to do new emergency brake cables because these have seen better days. And then hopefully once this is in, that's it. So we're going to start breaking this down. We'll swap out the wheel cylinders and e-brake cables. All right, wheel cylinders are on. We have our new rubber brake line. So while we're waiting for the emergency brake cables to come, obviously we can't assemble our brakes. But what we're going to do is we're going to plumb a new brake line from wheel cylinder to the junction block. And then once this goes in the car, the only thing that'll be left to do will be to plumb from the master cylinder to the rubber brake line here. Okay, got my line mapped out more or less where I want it to go. It runs nice and tight to the axle tube, the diff cover. Probably end up trimming a little bit off this end. And then I'll throw tube nuts on either side, flare it, and we'll have one side done. Both new brake lines flared, plumbed, hooked up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to press our bushings for the leaf spring into the frame rail. And then we're going to put the leaf spring pockets on in the front. We'll get the front half of the springs and the pockets located up into the car. And then we'll probably start bringing the rear end over, aligning it.
For the love of God and your own body, hold the hammering.
And I'll show you that kit to convert from the mono to the multi-leaf once we get those bushings in. All right, ready to put our brakes back together. We have some brand new emergency brake cables. So we're going to push this through the backing plate. And then I'm probably going to fire a spring off across the garage trying to get the drum brakes back on. All right, we're back again. You can see my breath. It's 2 degrees in the garage right now. But we made some progress. So last night we finished up. We got the brakes reassembled back together. This morning we actually pulled the brake lines back off the rear, and I'll show you why. We've got our axle U-bolts on either side, and we're getting ready to install our monoleaf to multi-leaf conversion. So in those plates on the rear, originally, this like plow head or T-head bolt with that knurled section, these were actually pressed into those brackets. Now the conversion kit that we have required us to drive those out. So we knocked those out. We had to clearance those holes a little bit, but now we have our U-bolts in. Next thing we are going to do is we are going to install the leaf spring pockets on the leaf springs. All right, we're going to hang the front of the leaf springs in the car, hopefully attach the rear differential to the springs, and then lift everything up into the back of the car, hook our shackles up, and this thing should have a rear end in it. And lastly, on the bottom of that conversion kit, it gives you the new plates, so you have that center locating hole right there, and then we have new shock hardware and new shocks. All right, we have both spring pockets installed, and we have both of those pockets bolted in to the car itself. So the next step is going to be to somehow attempt to wrestle the rear diff underneath. We'll get it lined up on our pins, and then we will hook them up to our shackles, and the rear diff should be in this car. Now, these springs supposedly came out of a 68 Firebird, but apparently that Firebird drove over other cars, because this is wild. I could probably get both of my hands in between the wheel well and the tire itself. Alright, well, that's going to do it for this one. Steve and I are both a little disappointed. This thing sits like an absolute monster truck. So, not ideal, but the car is back on the wheels. It has brand new frame rails. And even with these questionable used leaf springs, they fit in the car, the rear went in the car, there was nothing out of whack. And even though the thing's 36 feet up in the air, the car looks like it sits pretty level even without the front end in it. So I think I can confidently say that we both did a really, really good job welding this car back together. And it's a little deflating knowing that we're going to have to do this job over again to replace the springs, but we did it once before. The second time always goes easier, right?
What now?
Oh, you heard me. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please consider subscribing, and we'll see you guys very soon.